Yeah. Come on, let's get this
All
out the
right,
way.
man, we gonna mic check, mic check.
Yeah, gourmet.
All right, one time for the one time. Check my status podcast. We in it. I'm gonna go ahead and press record. We're just gonna do our first intro clip. So
You heard me?
good.
Cause I ain't at home. I ain't gotta go home. Going to
So
therapy session with my family. Get my mom and my brother together.
that's big.
Take them to see my therapist. You know, the goal is, reunification, building. Um, family is very important, man. Mental health is very important.
Gourmet, you being who you are in my life, I consider you family due to the fact that you seen me make additions to my family. You seen me take losses to my family, and we took similar losses to people that was like family to us. Rest in
Definitely,
peace, Mike Brown.
definitely. Oh man, rest in peace, Jody. Rest in peace, Mike Brown, Jody Carter,
Rest
and
in
Kilo
peace,
G.
Kilo.
You
Right.
know, I never got a chance to meet Jody Carter, but seeing you go through that time that you lost your father, I wasn't, I think you went to Southern California most of the time, but seeing you on that journey, you know what I mean? I didn't know what that journey was going to be like. And I had to go through that journey as well. And losing Brown and losing my dad, it's like, man, big losses, big blows to the community. I only pray that I could live up to be a smidget as close to the powers the man's had, man.
Hey, look, they left us with a lot of jewels and a lot of tools to maneuver the way we maneuvering now, which brings us to Randolph Academy, San Francisco, and the doings of just trying to revive your neighborhood, your community through cinematography, videography, photography, and the arts. That's where we at.
Definitely, man. The cameras not guns, man. I mean, the portfolio speaks of itself. I mean, we started off as starving artists, entrepreneurs. I mean, like we was probably like first group in the city talking about entrepreneurism because the goal is never just to just do art. You know what I mean? Like art is like the reflection. That's the release. You know what I mean? But you got to put some business together. You got to learn how to put some business together. And I just dedicated myself. I would start creating a family as well, but I dedicated myself to giving back and being that first nonprofit entrepreneurial hub in San Francisco. Yeah,
That
most definitely,
entrepreneurial hub is going to be
most definitely,
independent hustle, rap status,
most definitely.
which
Way
is
before that was when we had icing. That was like a finished cake already. We had the cake sitting there for so long. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have the understanding of BMI. You brought a lot of those things together, but just having the blueprint of knowing that this is what it takes to produce a project. You know what I mean? It's gonna take a couple bodies of songs. It's gonna take going to get some producers. Like we had all this equipment and they had nobody to work it. We'd have loved to have you in the beginning. We didn't. By the time you stepped into it, it was already like rolling already. It was already moving. But in the beginning, we had like 15, 14,000 from a group from San Francisco called Youth Funding Youth Ideas, YFYI. Gave us our first bread to inner city youth starving artist program. And they might still be around. They may not.
I feel like while we on the love topic, because of the love that you got for your neighborhood and
neighborhoods, city,
the hood you brought me to was Lakeview.
Yeah.
Because of the love that you got for that neighborhood, which introduced me to that neighborhood, which we as Twin Towers in that neighborhood are reputable and a nigga that's just coming smelling sauce on everything and kids is excited, you feel me, to have a second wind of some shit they ain't never had a whiff of. It puts you in good favor with them. It puts me in good favor with them. And now that we damn near 15 years later, the seeds we watered now is blossoming and sprouting.
Most definitely.
And it's something beautiful.
Man.
In the words of Mr. Brown.
Man, it's iconic to see anything that you do rise, grow, germinate, pollinate, see anything, do something. I mean, we were working with a bunch of uh, kids in the community that was underserved. You know, a community that didn't have um, the city's backing. You know what I mean? The city wasn't. It didn't seem like the city was funneling coins. It didn't even seem like the supervisor of the neighborhood was sprinkling in coins. I know they were. I know something was going on, but like they never came by and got with what was going on. And I think because they don't see that community or don't want to see that community as a violent, drug infested, you know, poverty stricken community, you know, even the homeowners would ignore that because that brings their home ownership down, right? They don't want to
Right. Yeah.
accept any of that. So even talking to homeowners,
And look into that camera and say cameras not guns.
cameras not guns, baby.
You know what I'm saying? We saving the youth, making beats,
Yeah.
keeping them off the
You
streets.
you know when I first created that, my whole goal was to do a gun buyback, and I was working with an officer, Officer Con Johnson, and was working with the Black Police Association. The goal was to try to get a gun buyback, man, and you know get some guns off the street at a time when violence was super high. I think we were at 89 to 95 to 100 homicides from 04 to 06, 07. Like it was a prime time when we were really getting active about.
Check my status. We gotta take a small commercial break and put you on to this. Brought to you by our sponsor.
Of communities in San Francisco, even within communities. Right now, what he got on the TV, that's Team 200. That's Randolph Street. You know, the San Francisco Housing Authority. I don't know if they still own it, but you know that was Housing Authority. We was growing up projects. You know what I'm saying? And the neighborhood called them apartments. We don't have projects like a lot of people have all down. But I heard and doing my research, it was supposed to be that all down the street, and the neighborhood said no. You know what I mean? They built some apartments. They built some low-income apartments in different pockets of the street, almost like a crisscross all down the street. But they didn't build, you know, they didn't allow. We got some on the 700 that look ragtag, but them was never housing authorities. It was never like you had, you know, you always got the projects always gonna breed some little hitters. You know what I'm saying? We only had right there on Randolph and Head. It's a different kind of brotherhood, a different kind of family. Where we were shooting all that, and all the scenes was done inside the. You know, I'm big mansion. That's the mansions, you know what I'm saying? The blue mansion. You feel me? I'm big mansion, you know what I mean? Like, I put that shit on my back, man. I love my community, you know what I'm saying? My auntie, my mama twin moved there in 86, you feel me? Out of Sunnydale Projects. You know what I mean? It was a different breed. We brought a whole nother ugly to the side. Really rude relatives, you know what I mean? We brought something that was a little different, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to Big Dub. Y'all see DT Dub, you know what I'm saying? His daddy Big Dub, Big Scrub, you know what I mean? He brought a whole nother element. You know what I mean? The rudest of the rudest.
I feel like with this project being ongoing, being able to capture the youngsters, the young bulls in their element before, you know, some before fatherhood, some before their first job, some before, you know, they set sail in their other endeavors, but them being hungry and passionate about music, being passionate about film, being passionate about the projects that you bring into them, for them to be a part of, to put them in position to do other things. I think that right there deserves its own classroom.
Definitely. I mean, you've seen it, but I'm obliged to the oligarchy of what's going on in my neighborhood. I know the whole story, but I can't know the whole story if I wasn't born yet, you know, rolling from Cool Nut and everything he did. You know, I was a young, scrappy dude under him. You know what I'm saying? So
that's Randolph Academy. So
yeah, definitely.
break that down
school.
From the top.
Well,
down to the 200.
I could break it down why you got him on a tour. That's Timmy. Timmy uncle is Cool Nut. So I saw Tim as a young puppy, a baby. You know what I'm saying? At the house. With Cool Nut's daughter. You feel me? So they all around that age, you know, so they growing up, becoming who they becoming, you know what I'm saying? And I seen Tim. You got Duper Troop, you know what I mean? Duper Troop was born, met him right at the gate. I helped his mom bring him in the gate. He born under the Killer Squad, you know what I mean? Under Scrooge, you know what I mean? And they family, you know. Bishop Corner, you know what I'm saying? Like Hunters Point, Staple, you feel me? Like Black Frisco, real ordained, organized mob type shit, you feel me? So the Randolph Academy, when you really look at it, it's just a school of the hard knocks. I mean, Cougnut, Ballhead Rick, SB, Selsky, you know, I would say Cougnut, Selsky, Ballhead Rick, like in the sense of like how things are gonna be breaking down of where people went. And you know, you got Boy Rick SB is UNLV, you got Lil Swoop, Leo J, Juwan, Dirt. Under that, you had the Groundhogs form. Twan Gotti, D Scourge, rest in peace. Lil Swoop, rest in peace. But Killer Keys, not Killer Keys, Dirty Dame, Young Sav, Don Beef, and a few more other than that. You know what I mean? Darnay, rest in peace. Like we had a few, Big Drama. We had a different era of these musicians. But off this street on Randolph, and nothing disrespect to the No Neighborhood, but it was a musical. I will say it was a musical soundtrack to our day-to-day posted up. We had spots in there, Donnie Rasta House, where you could turn music on, smoke weed all day. Keith's house, which we originally was in that house, apartment 14, Lil Swoop and all, and we was in that house. Hella game, hella ism, hella stories, hella history, and then moved to a bigger spot. They moved in there. His spot became the hangout. You know what I mean? 'Cause, you know, his mom had one kid, so it was just like doing the same thing all over again, reliving. So the academy part of it is like me being a person that's seen these elements, seen these different, you know what I'm saying, these different I want to call them opportunities, but like activities, you know what I'm saying? Seeing these different type of like historical events, which I call it, going to studio with Cougnut, going to studio with Ballhead Rick SB, you know what I'm saying? Going to studio, you know what I mean, with Lil Swoop, and that's all like, we like the Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? Like I mean, that's what we are. They said the Groundhogs was more like the Wu-Tang. We all was starting to go downtown at the time, different one of us, and it was going to the Wu Block. So it was that Groundhog Wu view. So we had different chapters. Like, you know, Groundhog went downtown and did their thing out there. Recipes of Child, recipes Darnay, recipes Scourge. You know what I mean? Like them niggas was downtown doing their thing. That was my clique. I was standing on the turf. I was getting in trouble, but Randolph Academy got those links. And after the Groundhog link, come Killer Squad. A whole other chapter. You know, Killer Keys, Killer Cam, The Robber, Scrooge, which is Duper Uncle. You know, and who I'm missing? Rob Scrooge, Killer Keys, Cam City.
Forge.
No, it's 5 and Luch. The Luch is part of Groundhog. My bad. Can't forget my brother Luch. See, Luch is part of Groundhog. We broke that link. It's almost like me and Luch. We left because I became I would call myself the manager, but I became like the caretaker of the squad. You know what I mean? The bigger brother. You know what I mean? And at that time, as Killer Squad was forming, we was working on some songs with Messy Moore. We was out there in Pittsburgh. Same time Messy Moore was doing Disobey-ish. Same studio with a producer by the name of Platt and my boy Drum, you know what I'm saying, with Luch. That was through Luch. So I told Luch, let's form that, let's start this next little chapter. Let's put you with the young group, because our group was dismantling and cats was going to jail. They was high, they was doing all type of shit. They wasn't focused on no music. So I feel like the cats that was focused on music, we kind of bridged and went, and that was where the Killer Squad was formed. You know, they had other names, Millennium Thugs, ABT Savages, you know, they had a lot of different names. Under the Groundhogs, then it's Killer Squad. Killer Squad creates another subgroup of that was Team Hustle. You got a whole nother division. You see them in episode 3. If you watch episode 3 of Young Bulls, I had the whole Team Hustle on the block. A Groundhog or two was around. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of different people. We telling a story about a whole neighborhood division. Like there was one neighborhood that was undefeated to the drama around the city, and due to you know, egos, machismo, and a bunch of other things, something popped off. You know what I mean? It was a clash. You know, it was robberies, was different things taking place that was creating that division, creating that hostility. Also, it was amping up the courage in more people. It was creating creating a vicious tenacity. It was creating some vicious I can't even get the word, but it was